Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the European crossover webinar. And a little bit of late start. We do have ECB today. I don't think we're going to be even moving much. But we actually did see the indices going to drop down a little bit further. You can see here as we tested 15,550. We're kind of coming back up again here on the NASDAQ. Also a little bounce back here on the S&Ps. And let's see, let's take a look where gold's at. Did got that dip in gold that we're talking about. Potentially, I said it could go down to even the high 1780s, which it did. Actually got down to about 1784, and we're just trading kind of quiet. But that's a pretty good little fall from this high of 1835. Good little fall indeed from that area here. And then taking a look at crude oil. And we just continue to meander around the 69.55. We did bounce, a decent okay bounce, but you can see here we're just stuck around the 69.55. They just keep pressing against that I don't know if you can call it barrier or zone, but that's what's pressing up against. Nonetheless, looking today, as far as data that we had, nothing other than, like I said, the big ECB announcement. That'll be at 7:45 Eastern. Of course, the press will be at 8:30 Eastern. And then today, of course, it's Thursday, so we get continuous jobless claims. And that's going to be it. We do crude stocks. Because of the holidays got pushed back. And that is going to be it. There are some Fed speakers. Fed Bowman speaks at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and Fed Williams speaks at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we're going to jump on into the analysis. Take a look where we stand here with the euro. I don't even know what to expect from Lagarde, really. Only thing is maybe she can point to the rising natural gas prices to show they've got some inflation. But to where they can go and extend, I just don't see a whole lot that she can offer that's even going to be credible. And if we are going to start to pare back a bit in indices, maybe we can, that'll provide an undertone bid to the dollar. So with that being said, trying to see how far this thing could pull back. There's 1768, and if it fell all the way back to 1740, let's go with 1768. And on the upside, I guess we're just going to trade these these ranges, so to speak. And on the upside would be 1908. Not sure how they're going to try and frame that. I'm going to go there. I'll go right here. 1879. I don't really see a scenario where the Bureau rallies of any significance. Taking a look at the cable. We did dip below this 37.52. You see that? But we held, so that's going to be support now and resistance on the upside. Certainly pushing this thing along for the moment. Let's go with that 38.30. Oh, there we go. 38.31. Sounds good enough. Let's go on now to the Aussie dollar. Really surprising how this thing really got back below 74, even with a little bit of gusto. I still think, I mean, now that we've slid below it, it kind of leaves any type of bulls kind of bare. So I think we'll have to get to a test down here, potentially, maybe not today. 73.29. This is some good support right there, but they may have to press this thing if we see the dollar get some bids. So let's go down here to 73.29. Upside 74.02. And let's go to the dollar yen. We got that peak above 1022, and we just seem to have kind of run out of gas. And we've gone and dipped down. We had 1001. We've dipped down, pressing this thing a bit. It's going to be right there. You see this wick here? 986. And on the upside, 1026. Take a look at the cash dollar index. Pretty good little move up in here. We got beyond that 92.69, which is key. We're actually below it right now, but that would be resistance here. 92, 92.84. And support, I think that's going to have a nice little bid. 92.35. And moving on to Bitcoin. This continues to just meander around here. Still think it's susceptible to come back down here to test this area. So let's go with 44,510. And on the upside, boy, is it trading quiet after that big fall. $47,115. And on to the SPOOs. Resistance is going to be 45.13. Let's call it 45.14, which at one time was support not that long ago. And we had 44.82. We came pretty doggone close. We'll stick with that 44.82. And to take a look at the NASDAQ, let's go with that 15,613. That downside, we did get a pretty good test yesterday. Downside, go back to the same thing, 15,519. And moving on to gold. The old fool's gold. People keep falling for this. We talked about this even this last week, talking about how this didn't mean anything, and it wouldn't mean anything unless we got a close above 1865. And certainly we just turned around and fell. And we even fell to a certain extent even further than what I thought. I thought there was a potential for the high 1780s, but a little bit further than what I thought. Support now. Let's go with 1783. I call it 1782. Resistance. I'm going to say 1802, but we'll give it the old 1808 on the stretch if we get any kind of a bounce. And then crude oil. Crude oil's not really doing anything. As mentioned, we're just meandering in this upper range, which is 69.55. You can see here that's held it from yesterday and still holding it. And downside is going to be, well, there's the pivot. So we may just roll and keep on going until we get down to that pivot. So it's going to be 67.95. And that is it. There's just not a whole lot going on. I didn't think there'd be anything going on. I thought the markets would be relatively quiet ahead of ECB. We did see the NASDAQ kind of press a little bit lower. They come back a bit here, but we'll see if things play out. Take a look at some other key stocks. Take a look at Apple. We didn't quit. It almost looked like we didn't have a bearish engulfing, but we didn't. Yesterday's daily close. Take a look at Amazon. Still holding up around this 35.31. Microsoft trying to come off these lows. Nvidia, Facebook, not anything that you could say, wow. I mean, I saw it yesterday at the beginning of the US session with Apple, so I say, hey, this thing looks like it's really susceptible. It's going to move the market, which it did. Netflix, we're still up in the freaking stars. Look at that. Intel, Tesla, a little bit of a pullback. But you can't say that there's anything that, wow, other than Apple, and that's, thought we were going to get a bearish engulfing. It wasn't. It looks like things are starting to turn. It doesn't look like the wheels are ready to come off the caboose, but things are starting to turn. You can see right here. But you see, look at that. We're still close positive. A recent new high for Amazon. And Microsoft, although a bit weaker here, we came off those lows. Look at that NVIDIA. Facebook again. Netflix, look at this. So once again, it looks like we might begin to start to see a bit of a turn, but there isn't anything to suggest, wow, we're about ready to hit that next leg. So maybe we come up here, press up in here, and kind of fiddly faddle around, and maybe we can press lower, but that is it. We'll have to see how things transpire with ECB. And there we have it. There's just not much moving right now. You can see crude oil is dead as a doornail here. And gold, well, as I told you, it's just fool's gold. For those that believed you got tricked again. But there we have it. So I'll go and get the bias chart posted, and we'll see you in the chat room. And thanks for joining us here on the very, very quiet session pre-ECB. Okay, and Jaime says if we can take a look at the dollar cat. Okay, it's not one that I look at. This was really, I mean, I can't believe people didn't sell the hell out of this. I don't get that because I haven't been following the dollar cat. But when we saw this, anyone that didn't sell this thing, I mean, I don't get it. That's a beautiful shooting star right there. And look at that. It just went south of the border. That would be the resistance right there. It'd be 28.27. In the meantime, we did get a little bit of a bounce. But you can see here we stopped right there at that level. That was a key level too, 27.65. This is probably more about possibly a fib. Yeah, it just came up just right at the 61%, just a hair bit below that. We did close above this 26.85. But here we are coming right back down on it. They just had that announcement, so the market might have got a little bit overdone. So we squeezed out some people, and this is going to be key right there to hold that, which is 26.44. So I would say they may try and probe it lower, but any dips towards that 26.44, you want to go in and cover. All they did was just probably squeeze some people out of position, so we'll come back. Although it's kind of made a turnaround, so maybe we can start to move higher in time, but I would think they have to come back down here and test. And the key coming, you can see right across there, 26.44. It's the high right there on this wick. It's a little bit higher there. It's high on this wick right here. You see, usually I don't go with the wicks, I go with the bodies, but I'm trying to go with the amount of it's actually, you can make the case 26.39. So you can see this thing pull back, but I think it'll be if you do get that pullback, I think you want to be covering, but that'll be towards 26.39. And that's all we have.